Just do that.
So, good evening, all. Hopefully, that wasn't too bad. We've had a bit of technical problems with Wi-Fi's, etc. So, this will be a chat through the latest FAQs published by the Middle-earth team last Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, I want to say.
Thursday. So, what we're going to do is we're going to run through the erratas and designers' commentaries. For all of them, we want to know your opinions and whether it's affected you or not. So, kind of, we'll give it a little bit longer and just, what have you been up to, Luke, in the last kind of couple of weeks?
So I'm back at work now. So trying to fit in a hobby in around that. It's been tricky. I haven't really done too much. I think I mentioned the last one that I had an orc banner ready to go. Well, almost done. He's done.
Nice. That's the
I've got
Moranon.
Yeah, the Moranon banner's done.
Yeah.
And I've also got the Shaman from the same pack done as well.
Nice.
That's it.
Okay.
Not too much.
Not too much. I'm just going to tell my. I have been building MDF terrain. I know you've seen the photo. I got some MDF terrain for a super secret project, but also some for gaming. So I've built some of the Halfling Craggy Town bundle from TT Combat, I think it's called.
Yeah, it rings a bell.
So we got the bundle, which is basically everything in the village, and I have built some of those, and I'm also taking a leap out of Stu Mack's book and making hobbit holes, which there is one here. So if you can see, like that. So it's a bit of polystyrene foam with a bit of MDF on the front, and then that is they'll be forming the basis of 5 hobbit holes. Which would be cool, and then I've got 2 kind of hobbit houses as well.
Excellent.
So we'll dive into the erratas. We are only going to go through the magenta text. Yeah. Otherwise, we'll be here for days rather than hours. And we'll kick it straight off with the main rules manual. And I think, if I'm correct, the only one is the change to the demolition charge. So a big one straight off the bat. So page 118, demolition charges, detonating the charge. Add the following after the second sentence. A model may only attempt to detonate the charge if the resulting explosion would affect at least 2 enemy models or an enemy siege target, meaning there must be at least 2 enemy models within 2 inches of the charge to detonate.
Yes.
Right, your thoughts first.
So, I never thought it needed FAQing, but now that it's been done, I completely understand. The reason I didn't think it needed one is because it never happened to me. I never did it either.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those odd situations where, you can get yourself 25% in the game and you're winning. And it also makes sense from sort of a themey point of view as well. That's not what they're there for.
Yeah. Yeah, like for me, I can see where where the 2 models has come from regarding killing yourself. It would turn out to be the only way, or one of the few ways you could harm yourself in our game.
Pretty much.
The only other ways I can think of are shooting into combat and trying to jump off high places.
Yeah. Pretty much it.
So it was a real niche area. And I've seen a lot of chatter regarding but that means a big enemy hero can go off and try and deal with the bomb team himself and all that kind of jazz. And To be honest, I don't agree with that.
No.
If a big enemy hero is going off by himself to deal with a bomb, A, he's not dealing with anything else in your army. B, you're gonna have some kind of missile fire, whether you're pure Isengard or the Legion. So whether that be ballistas or crossbows or normal Uruk bows or whatever. And see, he's out by himself. He's not got any support. So as long as you have the numbers, etc., you can just swarm them.
Yeah.
And or you have Saruman. So kind of everyone regarding this whole two models thing, I think it's for a good reason. And to be honest, I'm happy with it. Having played with it against you. Yes, against you, in a friendly game. It was fun, but wanted to maximise casualties, and that's kind of the way it goes. I don't know if anyone in the chat thinks otherwise. But yeah, I'm happy with it because I think if a big hero is going off to deal with it, there's plenty of things to either deal with the big hero or
let him do it.
Yeah, let him run after an 80-point model if he's an Aragorn or a Boromir or whatnot. Like I don't see the problem.
No, I've got no real issues with it. Not that I can think of, anyway.
No, like I say, I'm more than happy with how it's changed. I think it's changed for the better, and we'll come to the designer's commentary in a minute. And they explain how the bomb is used, etc. But other than that, that is the only magenta in the whole of the erratas. Erratas, I'm expecting us to fly through pretty quickly because they're changes to the rules rather than actual thoughts and kind of rules intended versus rules written. That's a horrible sentence to get out. So we will move on to the rules manual. So the first magenta one. If a model has been forced to move before it has just seen in the chat. So the bomb can't be used against Smaug. Currently, I don't think so.
I just saw on there. It's 2 models or a siege target.
Is he a siege target? I know a Mummock is. This is one of the debates that's been brought up. What would it be in rules manual? Let's have a double check because it's here. Yeah. Let me just double check for you. Where does it say what a siege target is? Yeah, Smaug is not listed as a siege target.
Okay.
Siege targets are large gates, the Mummock houses, boats, large siege engines. That might be one to come in the future. But yeah, that is the one of the few problems I can see with it so far. I don't.
True, yeah. Unless it's in there somewhere that we haven't seen. FAQ, but
I haven't seen. Not that I can remember. So
no. That'll be the next.
As you say, I'm sure we'll come back to the bomb at some point this evening. So the first designer's commentary update is if a model has been forced to move before it has had its turn to move, such as being affected by command, compel, magical power, does it need to take encouraged efforts if it's part of a broken force, and will it provide a standfast? No to both questions. I think this is more of a clarity for new players. For myself, and I know you, and I think a lot of the tournament scene, that's how we've been playing it for however long. I don't think there's much difference. I've never seen it played the other way.
Yeah, I think part of the wording of those spells or the powers is that they can no longer act.
Yeah.
So that means taking tests or.
Yeah, I think that's the case.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward, I think.
I'm going to keep my rules manual in front of me just in case. Well, while we're here, let's quickly flick to it and see what it says. One enemy. This is command compel. One enemy model within range. Caster may move up to half its maximum distance. They can do it if it's already moved. Can't jump, leap, dismount, lie down. But can take them into difficult terrain and charge an enemy. No courage test is required. And they suffer the effect of Immobilized Transfix, which is on the next page. While this power in effect, the target may not move, shoot, cast magical powers, declare her actions, call a stand fast, or use. So
this is the courage test bit, I think.
Yeah, so the stand fast bit is definitely not. So even if it's a hero of legend, that means they will still not be able to use their auto stand fast.
Yeah.
So I think that just about covers that one. We will move swiftly on. Do you want to take the first one on page 2?
So do cavalry models suffer a hit on both the rider and the mount when affected by a special that inflicts a hit on all models, such as Dragon's Breath Flyer, Smile and Momentum, and Sauron's Unstoppable Brutal Power Attack? Yes, unless otherwise stated.
Again, I think that's a clarity.
Yeah, it's just to make sure that it's on both aspects, isn't it? Because there's the whole thing of the model is like a combined profile or whatever, but yeah, I think that's pretty clear.
I think that's pretty clear. Like you say, when a magical power is cast on a model, is cast on the mount and the rider, I think this just clarifies that those missile and special brutal power attacks follow that as well.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the next one. If a model has declared a heroic march, can they be compelled to charge an enemy model? No. A model that has declared a heroic march may not charge that turn, even if moved by another model. That's an interesting one.
Okay.
I've not seen it come up in a game, but I've had the discussion with people before, I think.
So yeah, I think because
so that's even like if a heroic march went first, then your opponent tried to compel something, that thing couldn't then be told to charge something else.
Because they've marched. Yeah.
So Seize the Prize, for example, you've got a cavalry model, moves over, heroic marches, moves over the prize, and then something on the opposing force tries to compel it. It can't be charged, but you can bring it into charge range and then charge it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, yes.
So yeah, you can compel it an inch away. So that turn, that model can move a serious amount of distance.
22.5 inches? If it's a cavalry mod.
Yeah. And then dies because it gets trapped and surrounded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. I hadn't noticed that one before. Yeah.
I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Moving down the designer's commentary. We have got to One Ring stuff.
Oh dear.
So I can safely say now, me and Luke do not play with the One Ring frequently. Tom in our gaming group is the only one who does.
More relevant.
But he uses Bilbo, so he ignores it. He ignores some of it anyway.
That's true. We'll do our best.
Yeah.
So first one there. Can a model with the wrong One Ring put it on if they have already been charged that turn? No.
I think that's again more clarity.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing. If you're in combat, can you do anything? No.
Not a thing.
Simple as. Keep it nice and straightforward. It's the same for anything, isn't it? The second one, if a model fails its courage test to charge an invisible model, can it still move as normal, including charging a different target? The answer is yes. Unlike a courage test to charge a terrifying model, this courage test is simply to see if the model can see the invisible model. As such, if a model fails this courage test, it only means they are unable to locate the invisible model and may continue the rest of their turn as normal, though they may not attempt to charge the invisible model again that turn.
Okay.
So I presume that means including heroic combat.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. Happy with that.
So if they were to charge into another terrifying model,
They would have to take a second courage test.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
From my point of view, because it's two different tests.
Yeah.
It's like
it says it clear as finding the invisible models, not actually to charge them as terrifying.
Yeah. I would akin it to passing a courage test to stay on the battlefield and then passing a courage test to charge a terrifying model.
Yeah.
So yeah, that seems fine to me. I don't think I've come across this before.
No.
If so, I think we played this answer. So you can't see him, but you can continue doing whatever you will. Kind of like if you fail a courage test, you can still shoot a bow. Similar to that.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So you got the next one? I'm trying to find the One Ring rules.
It says it next to there, page 9.
Ah, yes, I'm on page 90.
So the next one we've got here is, can a model finish its movement on top of an invisible model that is involved in a fight in order to force them out of combat? No. If an invisible model is in combat, other models may not finish their movement with their bases overlapping the invisible model. I think that's as wording in the rules, isn't there? Something about you cannot enter what's the word? Cannot end their movement where this model is. I think.
Yeah, so here it is. It says the ring bearer has no control zone, and enemy models may move through the ring bearer. If an enemy model wishes to end its movement on the space the ring bearer is taking up, move the ring bearer the minimum distance to place him out of the way. So this goes back to if you're in combat, that's it. You can't get out of combat. That's I think that's one of the overriding rules of our game. If you're in combat, tough. That's it. you can't do anything.
Can't get out.
So moving on, do invisible models ignore enemy control zones when they move? Yes. Makes sense.
Yeah. Again, it's part of the wording of the rules, isn't it?
Yeah. So they has no control zone. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It doesn't explicitly say anything about. It says enemy models moving through the ring bearer's control zone and through the ring bearer, but nothing about the ring bearer doing it the other way, which is probably why this is come in.
Fair enough.
Can a model armed with a shield use the shielding rule when under the effects of Immobilized, Transfix, magical power? No.
No.
I don't remember seeing it played either way.
Not that I can think of. It's because you're declaring
It's an action.
You're not fighting in the normal way.
It's an action
it's
rather
like
than
you can't feint or piercing strike or whatever. It's that sort of thing where you you're in combat and that's it. You just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
So there's nothing you can call or declare that will change things. So
Yeah.
that's
No.
how I would have assumed it anyway. But
Yeah. I
I
think that's the same with me. I don't think I would have thought about it either way. But that's kind of the way I've played it before. I think. Like I say, it's an action. It's a active ability, if you will. You are actively trying to shield, and if you can't do any heroic actions or like your active special rules, then so be it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Next one.
the next one is
So
here.
does a model that has been paralyzed need to make a courage test for being part of a broken force, and do they still provide a standfast? No to both questions. So
Uh,
it's similar to the thing we had before. It's just for the paralyzed special ability now.
yeah,
They can't do anything.
I agree with that. Having played a lot of Barrow Whites, it's not something I've come across particularly.
Okay, fair enough.
The hero tends to be dead before they can take a courage test. So I
The
don't
idea
think,
behind it anyway.
I don't think I've come across that. But it makes sense. You can't do anything. You lose or fights automatically, etc. So yeah, I think that's fine. Do Sauron, the Necromancer, and Rungo's models ignore the invisible rule for models made invisible by the Shroud of Shadows magical power in the same manner as the One Ring? Yes. So I am
Okay.
not familiar with Shroud of Shadows.
No.
Targets a friendly model
I think
within range. The target is considered invisible until the end of the phase. They cannot be targeted by enemy models, magical powers, special rules, or shooting attacks, and do not count in the way. They have no control zone while invisible, and enemy models may even move through them. An enemy model may not end its movement on the space the target is taking up. And then it's the same for charging. You get the -1 for every full inch.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I expect they're invisible and they see invisible things.
Yeah.
That seems fine to me.
I think I've only ever seen it used once because I've only ever seen a model that can use it being taken. So.
Okay. So
I can't remember where it was, but I've only ever seen it used once.
no, I don't think I've ever seen it used. Can a war beast be targeted by Shroud of Shadows magic power? No. I think that's fair enough. Whoever sent that in, that is a great effort to try and get a war beast.
Massive elephant gone?
Yeah, where's that elephant or that massive rhino gone? I have no idea.
No, it's just clarifying, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah. So
If it,
carry on.
yeah, if the rules wasn't there, then you could argue, but
Yeah.
where's the next?
So we are back on to bombs.
So when a bomb is dropped, can it be dropped only touching one of the bomb carriers, or must it be dropped touching both? The answer is when it is dropped, it must be placed touching both the carriers. The only exception is if one of the carriers is slain, in which case the bomb is dropped touching the remaining bomb carrier as close to where the slain bomb carrier was. Bit of a mouthful, but yeah.
I think that's clarity for the extra inch people try to get.
Yeah. So rather than that makes a massive difference,
yeah. It makes a huge difference. I can't remember how we played it when we played.
I think because we played quite a big match, it was doubles, and there was I think it was about 50 models each on each side or something like that. So it was all quite
something
compact.
like that.
I don't think we could have gained any extra range if we tried, but
yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure I put it in base contact with both, but I honestly can't remember. Like I say, I think that's more clarity and it stops people gaining that extra inch. So yeah, that makes sense. The next one regarding demolition charge: can a demolition charge be placed overlapping a model's base? No. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. That kind of comes from the you're not allowed any overlapping bases in the game.
Yeah.
Same with the invisible model with the one ring earlier, and Shroud of Shadows. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Next one. Is this the last one on the bomb? No.
No, there's more.
Does a single successful fate roll prevent all wounds suffered from a demolition charge, or just one? Just one per successful fate roll. So yeah, I think that's how I've played it, and I've seen others play it as well. You can't stop 12 wounds with just
Yeah, it's not like Mighty Blow, or I think it's just Mighty Blow now, because they consolidated it to one rule.
because they're separate wounds, whereas it's not one two. That's
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you can cause 11 wounds to Aragorn, or like 8 wounds to someone, and they will automatically die.
yeah.
So
Sadly.
yeah. So when a demolition charge detonates, do you measure from the center of the charge or from the edges of the charge? Measure from the edges of the demolition charge. I think that's fair enough. It's the same with objective markers and like banners and whatnot. So that seems perfectly fair.
Yeah, it's one of those underlying rules of the game where it's base to base rather than the base.
Yeah,
If you measure something in a game, that's how you do it. So
I was going to say it's base to base for deployment and whatnot as well. We'll come on to the match play guides a bit later.
yeah.
So I think that is the end of the bomb. I think that is the end of the bomb questions.
So I think there's 2 more. So I'll go for this one next because I just saw what it mentions. So our objective markers or any other kind of markers such as a cave drakes nest mark counted as impassable terrain, difficult terrain, or open. Markers are treated as open terrain, and models may finish their movement on top of them if they wish. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. I tend to play with the discs that are out of the General's Handbook, or whatever it was called.
Yeah, I think the example there is obviously the nest marker because you get the eggs, don't you?
Oh yeah, you can put the eggs on it. I think it'd always be wise to have a small disc with you. Just in case it gets a bit dicey around there.
Yeah.
Cool. And then continue on basing. In scenarios where models deploy within 6 inches of the warband's captain, if the player wishes to deploy on an elevated piece of terrain higher than the warband's captain, does the model need to be 6 inches of the warband's captain or the captain's base? Any part of the captain's base. I think that is a logical decision because you can have heroes on rocks. I'm looking at you, Isengard Uruk Captain. I'm looking at Groblog. So the base just makes everything more uniform.
Yeah, because people then may decide to elevate it further by putting slate rock stuff. So
yeah, exactly. I know I've got some of my heroes with a bit of slate underneath.
Yeah, it's that thing we said before. It's base to base when you measure something. So
yeah. Turning my lights on again. So
I think that's it.
That is it for the main rulebook. Where should we go now? Armies of the Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, because that's how I stack them on my shelf.
Yeah, let's do the armies. So we have the errata. So, the demolition charge is in here, but the other major point that was discussed on the Warhammer community article that came out with these FAQs is Mr. Gamling. And I wonder if Sean Creed is watching. I know we've had a discussion. So Sean in our local group plays, not Rohan exclusively, but has played a lot of Rohan. So Gamling, the Royal Standard of Rohan, changed the second sentence to read, additionally, a single Rohan hero model within 3 inches of the Royal Standard of Rohan at the start of the turn that has no might remaining may automatically add 1 point of might to their store. Right. Thoughts? Because I'm going to look up something very quickly.
I'm happy.
Of course you are.
I think I mentioned it before that Gamling is always a model that I struggle against just because he can keep heroic moving and you can still do heroic combats with all your big heroes, especially, as I said, a goblin player. Lack of mobility anyway.
He can heroic defense every turn. That was the problem.
And heroic defense every turn. That didn't really matter. Just get the watch. Get some.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the fact that you can't heroic defense every turn, you can't. I think it was another thing for defenders, Legion. You can't do heroic shoot.
Yeah.
Turn. Yeah, I think people have got so used to it, and a lot of people built their armies around it. That's why there's a bit of an uproar. But it's the same with a lot of things that are game changers. So when Iron Hills were really good with Ballista, they upped the points. You still see them, but they're not
as prevalent.
And also include. And then there was when the Rivendell Night Lists and Radagast got nerfed with the Wrath of Bruin and his Wrath. There was uproar about that as well, but I honestly, looking back, it hasn't changed. So I think it's going to be the same for Gamling. I don't think it's going to change those army lists styles.
Yeah.
You've got to be a little bit more conservative with Mike.
Yeah, a little bit. I've got not some bones to pick. I don't have a problem with this now. So there's a bit of chatter in the chat about this. So Christian thinks that a range boost would be needed. I don't think so. I think that would make him super powerful again. I've seen this equation put online a lot, saying that you think a banner's worth 25 points, so immediately he's, and then if you get 5 turns of might being approximately 5 points each, you've got your points back. To be honest, I think he'll still be in most Riders of Theoden lists. He may not be in as many Defenders of Helm's Deep lists.
No.
Because you've got Aragorn in there and you can cram it full of might anyway. But so I was just looking up to see, it says additionally a single Rohan hero model. Dernhelm is a model, correct?
Yes.
So does that mean they get 2 might points back or 1?
Based off how their profile is put together, yeah.
I think that's something that does need to be FAQ'd.
Yeah.
There's a Kalena Bruise. Apologies if I butchered that. It's got a really good point, and I've made this point to a couple of people that I think it means Dearwine has got better because his free heroic combats will be used. Yeah, it will be used. Yeah. For me, I think Gamling will still be in those lists. He's not a problem. For me, I would probably keep him near Dernhelm. Even if it was only 1 might point between the two of them, I would still keep him close to her because of Merry, and you can just heroic move with him instead of using up crucial might elsewhere. He's still a banner at the end of the day. which is a massive thing. And I think the Defenders of Helm's Deep list caused a few problems, because you have Gamling who can heroic defense already. Then you have Haleth who can heroic defense already, and he gives the fight value boost to everyone. So you could have those two just stood in front of a troll or a big hero and go, cool, I'm going to heroic defense for eternity. And now it means Haleth is squishy, more squishy.
As he should be.
As he should be. Aldor can't necessarily heroic shoot every turn. He probably could for a little bit, but not that long. I still think you're still gonna see, and Rides of Rohan. And to be honest, I never really had a problem with it, because it wasn't necessarily winning lots and lots of tournaments that I saw.
No, true.
It would come close if the scenarios fell in their favour, but it wouldn't. The list wouldn't necessarily kind of constantly be on top table. I've played against it and got smashed by it. I've played against it and smashed it. Like, it's not.
Yeah, it's one of those armies, because it's all cav at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Even if you can move every turn, though you could lose every single one and then they all die.
Yeah. And I think a Rise of Theoden list at lower points, you may not see Gamling now.
So yeah, where the point is, 550 points.
So I think obviously Theoden, and then I would definitely put Dernhelm in. At 550, you can probably fit Elfhelm and Daewine and some dudes. Off the top of my head. So 100 for Theoden, 175, go 250. 250? Yeah, that's right. 335-ish for those 4 heroes. And then you go, cool, 200 points worth of dudes. Like, I think I've just answered your question. I think Elfhelm's a steal, to be honest. Oh, Luke's just dropped out. This could be interesting. Let's see if we can get him back. We have been having some problems with Wi-Fi, etc.
Am I back?
You are back. And nearly...
Just pressing the button now to get the video.
Excellent. Hello again.
I don't know what happened there.
That's not a problem. So yeah, I think with the Rise of Theoden Legion, you would take Gamling, I think. But if you're playing 550 and you've got 12 points of might already, with a free heroic combat in there, I think you're doing all right for might. You might not necessarily need Gamling, but it is something you would have to weigh up instead. So that's kind of my views on it. If Gamling is scooting around by Dernhelm, shoot Dernhelm's horse.
Done.
Shoot the horse. so much less of a problem when Dernhelm is running around as Awen and Merry on foot. Same goes with Gamling, to be honest. I think that was always, for me, that was always what I tried to do with Gamling, and I probably might still take his horse out, and the army becomes so much less mobile.
It's true.
So much less mobile. I think we've talked Gamling to death a little bit. I don't
think we need to go too much more, because it's been talked to death the last few days.
Yeah, most definitely. And then the only other remaining errata on the armies of the Lord of the Rings is the Demolition charge, which we've already spoken about. So, moving on to the designer's commentary.
Too many?
Not too many, I don't think.
So, first we've got here is Legolas Greenleaf's Deadly Shot special rule states that if he fires a single arrow, that he will always hit the 2+, and that it cannot be modified in any way. Can this be modified by Grabane's Cloud of Birds special rule? No. Deadly Shot can be modified.
So there's one way of getting a wound.
Yeah.
There's one way of getting a wound on Grabine. If you've got 40 inches of board and Legolas is doing like a kind of arc shoot at them as they're flying past, then yeah, you're going to kill it. Well, providing you wound. Not worth it.
No.
If you need that cheeky last wound, then yeah, maybe. But no, it just clarifies which rule has precedent.
Yeah.
If Gimli, son of Gloin, is fielded as part of the same army as Legolas Greenleaf, Prince of Mirkwood, does Gimli still benefit from his I myself am sitting pretty on 43 special rule? No. I think it's a good clarification.
Yeah.
It's from two different eras, is the way I'd look at it. They wouldn't know each other for a start, and they wouldn't they wouldn't have that interaction and that friendship. Is probably the right word.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
So
Again,
it's just clarity, I think. Moving down.
Can models finish their move on top of a warrior goblin drum? No, they may attempt to jump over it.
So that'll be a jump test. You need a drum. You haven't got a drum. You need a drum.
I need a drum.
That's a good one. You could block a doorway. I think the drum does have wounds, so you can attack and kill it. So.
Yes. 3.
Defense 7 maybe. I think so. Continuing on. Oh, we've got some more pink down here. Those 4 on the left we have already covered.
Yep.
Why do I always get the long ones? How are models that cannot normally be directly affected by magical powers that would prevent them from moving, such as Smaug or the Mummock, affected by special rules that would make them suffer the effects of paralyzed magical power, but that aren't technically magical powers, such as Mirkwood Spiders, a spider web, or Shelob's caught in a web brutal power attack? Models that cannot be prevented from moving, such as Smaug or a Mummock, will be unaffected by special rules that will make them suffer the effects of paralyzed magical power. That makes sense.
Cool. Yeah.
You can't cast Paralyze on a Mummock anyway. If you manage to cast it on his driver, fair play to you. I've attempted it once, and the Barrow-wight got pummeled with rocks and died. I did have to climb up a cliff face. That was interesting. And then, yeah, I think that just makes sense, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just a clarification where you're not technically casting Paralyze, but you're given the effect.
Yeah, most definitely. And that is the end of the armies of Lord of the Rings. So if we move on to the errata for the armies of the Hobbit, we have no pink in here. So we will be moving swiftly on to the designer's commentary.
There's a few in it.
There's a few, is there? Oh, here we are. Right. What happens to Bard, if either Sigrid or Tilda are killed by a siege engine? If Sigrid or Tilda is killed by the initial shot of the siege engine, then the siege veteran will be the target of Bard's rage for something to fight for special rule. If Sigrid or Tilda is killed by the area effect or by another model being flung into them, such as with piercing shot, so that's your ballista type weapons, then no single model is the target of Bard's rage. Instead, treat this situation as if Bard has already slain the target of his rage. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I
think it's the area effect bit that needed to be clarified, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think for the initial shot, it was kind of clear, or at least I would have suggested you would do the siege veteran, but otherwise, yeah, not too bad.
So, in a historical alliance between Azog's Legion and Azog's Hunters, if I choose Azog or Bolg as my leader but take them from Azog's Hunter list, do they still gain Master of Battle as per Azog's Legion army bonus? No, they will only get Master of Battle if they are taken from the Azog's Legion army.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's the army list they're taken from.
Yeah, it's the army bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing for me that might need clarity is the Morgul arrows. I haven't got the armies of the Hobbit in front of me. Let me just open them up. Because there is something about the Morgul arrows and it can be a little confusing.
What? So, what's your issue?
If your army includes Bolg, all Hunter Orcs and Hunter Orc captains in your army gain Morgul arrows. Okay, that seems fair enough. I just thought it would be more if he's taken from the Azog's Hunters list, they get Morgul arrows, rather than if he's taken from Azog's Legion, where obviously there is no bows.
Okay.
That's the only thing. Because obviously you see quite a few people taking Bolg and Warband of Gundabad with Thimble, for example, and a load of Hunter Orcs, so they get Morgul arrows, whereas it's from a different list, if you get what I mean. That's my only slight bugbear with that. But no, the Master of Battle is if you take them from Azog's Legion, they get Master of Battle. If you take them from in the Azog's Hunters list, then they don't. Quite simple.
Compelled.
Because it says on the Azog's Hunters, Azog counts as a hero of legend, but he may not take the Signal Tower, Heavy Armor, or the Stone Flail if he's in the Legion, or if he's in that faction. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if there would be a similar thing regarding Bolg and the Morgul arrows. But that's my only thing. It just seems a bit strange that he leads an army of Gundabans to me, and then he can suddenly be like, "Hey, have some Morgul arrows."
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah.
So scrolling down, we have covered that one already.
The power stuff.
That's the spider's web. Good. So let's move on to Gondor at War Errata. Let's go through the source books.
Is there anything? Nope.
No, nice short one there.
And there's only one on the designer's commentary as well.
Is there?
If Merry dismounts from Durnhell, does she immediately return to the Eowyn profile? Yes, the Durnhell profile is only used when both Eowyn and Merry are mounted together on
the. Yeah, makes sense. They are the combined profile. Also, if you read the one above it, not in pink, he cannot remount. So you make the
choice.
You make the choice. You either have Durnhelm or you have Merry go off and do whatever he wants. I think that's fair enough. Makes sense. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that.
Cool.
Moving on to War in Rohan Errata. Nothing has changed. It only came out in December, so that's good. I think those two on the errata are misprints. So, more Krebine.
Yeah.
If a Krebine is in the way of another model, will it be hit on the roll of a 1 to 3 as per the stand in the way roll, or will it be hit on the roll of a 6? The Krebine will be hit on a 1 to 3 as normal. In fact, this is a good way of hitting Krebine with shooting attacks, so be careful where you place them. The best thing to do is place them behind your lines. Because they can move a long way, and then they're
They
still
want to
being
get
hit on
shot.
sixes. They're still being hit on
Yeah.
sixes. So yeah. Yeah, it's a way of
Final one.
getting rid of them. If you could compel them forward and over the top, and then shoot whatever's behind it, that's probably the best way of like using that bit of designer's commentary.
Final one is quite an interesting one. So, if a legendary legion is used as part of a siege game, can they still purchase siege equipment? Yeah,
So
why not?
that regards the siege rules, I think, in War in Rohan. So your what is it? Your siege ladders and siege
Yeah.
towers and stuff. Let me find the siege
Has anyone
equipment.
actually used that yet? I'm not seeing anyone.
We haven't used it yet. It might be something cool to try in the future. Where the bleeding Nora and all these siege rules? Hey, you found them. So yeah, it's the battering ram, siege tower, siege ladder, or boiling oil rocks, spike barricade, rallying point.
Okay.
So that's what
That's cool,
that's what I think it's getting to. Because if you look in the legendary legion that has siege equipment, let's take the assault on Hammer. Yeah, the ballista's already listed with captain, additional crew, and superior construction. So I think that's fair.
Cool.
I don't see a problem with that. So that is War in Rohan covered. We are rattling through these, my friend. Scouring of the Shire Errata. Nothing.
Is there anything?
Nothing new.
Good.
The designer's commentary. I know there's something in here.
Yes.
Can
So,
Farmer Tolman Cotton use his pitchfork as a two-handed weapon when he is supporting a fight? No. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I know it's a new, unique weapon type, but I think that's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
You can only only spear support or pike support a fight. So that makes sense. Let's go to the match play guide, because that is the last one, I think, because we won't cover battle companies. We could probably do a stream about battle companies and maybe paint up our own. Oh, there's an idea.
Play it before we can talk
about it. So, obviously the match plays guide came out in February, I want to say, because it was used at the GT early March. So yeah. So, in scenarios where models deploy within 6 inches of the warband's captain, if a player wishes to deploy in an elevated place, we had this one earlier. I will skip to the end of that. It's any part of the captain's base. You will have heard our comments earlier in the stream. Do you want to take the next one?
So yeah, in scenarios where you score VPs for killing enemy hero models or the leader, are the VPs still scored if the hero model is removed as a casualty in another way? For example, if they flee the board, are reduced to 0 will when they have the will of to rule, or any other situation. Yes, you will still score the VPs if the enemy hero is removed in a different. Yeah, that's how I've always played it.
That's how we've always played it, and I think again this is clarity for new players, because I think there are still newer players coming into the game because of the new.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, and they haven't got the experience of what is the norm and all that sort of.
Yeah, most definitely. So the next one. If in the match play scenarios when deployment states that models must be deployed within a certain area, is this within or wholly within? Deployment is always wholly within, with one exception. In the Contest of Champions scenario, leaders only need to be within 3 inches of the centre of the board rather than wholly within. I agree with that. I don't. That's how I've always played it. It's different for like hold round where you're judging at the end because it's within 3 inches of the, or 6 inches of the marker, but deployment is always wholly within.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So, in scenarios that require models to capture objectives, do models that have temporarily switched sides, e.g. Denethor and Broker, count the scoring VPs for their owning player or the player who temporarily controls them? It's their owning player.
Again, makes
Yeah,
sense.
fair enough. That would be really horrible if it wasn't. But
Yeah, it would be nasty. But no, you only gain control of a model. You don't add it to your army, if you will.
yeah.
So yeah, that's how I would see it. Next one. In scenarios that use Maelstrom of Battle special rule, can models be commanded, compelled to charge an enemy on the turn they arrived? No. Maelstrom rule states models may not charge on the turn they arrive. Have we covered this one already?
No.
Oh no, we covered the Heroic March one, didn't we? So
Yeah.
so this is similar to the Heroic March one, where it states a model may not charge on the turn they arrive. So you cannot compel, and then so you can compel. Oh, you can't even compel and charge. So yeah, in the first turn in Maelstrom, no one should be in combat at all.
Nope.
Uh,
You can push them further away, but
unless you are playing the Wolves of Isengard with the ambush
oh,
or whatever it is,
true.
scouts where they come in first, because they are already on the board.
Or you bring a war beast on, trample and stop.
Speaking of that, the next one is yours.
Ah. So what happens if a model that can kill models by moving into them, such as the war beast or unnamed chariot, tries to do so as they enter board by the Maelstrom of battle deployment, but fails to kill a model whilst not completely on the board? A model that moves in this way must be completely on the board before attempting to kill any models via its special rule. Okay, I didn't see that one before. Excellent.
So
So they've got to be on the board fully before they can trample.
yeah, so for a Mummock, they cannot trample on turn 1. Oh, they can if they come on at an angle.
Yeah, so there's certain ways you can do it.
Well, but the base is 8 inches, correct? Ish.
Yeah.
So I
you
think
could
a Mummock would
go
have
in
to.
at an angle and maybe clip.
Yeah, you could clip on the flank possibly. But other than that, I think so. It means a war beast has to be on the field of play before anything happens. So essentially, you just move them a
I like that.
bit further away. It saves the confusion, I think.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I think it's confusion, and it makes so you don't have models hanging off the edge of the board.
Does that apply to Chaos in Arctic? I killed an entire Rohan.
that I think that would apply to Chaos Inada. So you can have that one and stick it in your memory bank. In the Lords of Battle scenario, do wounds inflicted upon my opponent in ways other than being dealt by my army count towards my wound tally? Yes, essentially, anytime an enemy model is removed as a casualty, you will add the points to your wound tally. This includes, but is not limited to, the likes of fleeing models, though you will only score points for mounts if you actually kill them. Models that are trampled / run over by a friendly warbeast or chariots. Models removed by special rules such as Kardash's Heart of Darkness, and even situations such as models being removed as a result of falling damage. I think that's a good one to clear up.
Yep.
I don't think there is much else really. There'll be the odd one or two rules. Goroth's man in the way rule is another one.
But yeah, it's not included, but it is the same sort of thing.
Yeah, of course it is. Like I say, I think for any camel, pony, horse, you will not score the points for a
Nope.
Warg Rider, you would score 2 points because the Warg would run.
Yes, because it can.
Because the Warg can run.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I think that's good. It just again makes it clear for the whole situation on Lords of Battle. I know it can get confusing at times. Again for new players. I think that's what a lot of these designers' commentaries are. It's either tiered towards the top competitive, how you play it, or the newer players who don't necessarily obviously haven't played it for a while.
yeah. So next one, do models that may spend will points as if they were fate give towards the wound tally for spending will points in this matter in Lords of Battle? No, the will points are spent as if they were fate points, though they are not themselves fate points and will not count towards the wound tally. So Necromancer, the Undying,
Yeah, Castellans.
Castellans, so they have to actually use a fate point. It's not as if fate.
Yeah, so the Necromancer will only ever give you three wound tally points because he doesn't have fate.
No matter how many.
So yeah, you won't get 28 points for killing the Necromancer. We're moving towards the end of these. Do models that are benefiting from the Fury magical power give points towards the wound tally for making a Fury save? No. So I think that is like because it's not a fate point. It is a special.
They're not. They've saved the wound.
Yeah, they've
ignored the wound.
So yeah, they just shrug it off. So that's not a problem. That's one that has caused confusion in the past. I know through some discussions.
So got a few more to go. If a model gains might points in some way, such as winning a heroic challenge, can they regain them in the Lords of Battle and Contest of Champions scenarios, even if this would take them above their starting might points? Yes. Models that gain might points in some way and then spend them can still regain them in these scenarios as they were spent early in the battle. Yeah, I've had this where Gilgalad has
interesting.
Gone up to 4 might. I've played it like that before. Ruled, yeah, can go above.
Oh, that's interesting. How did you get to 4 then? Heroic challenge?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. I can't remember how, but I'm pretty sure Gilgalad had 4 might on.
Oh, nice. So that means a Balrog can win a heroic challenge, get 3 might points in Lords of Battle, let's say. Ridiculous why someone would heroic challenge the Balrog anyway, but carry on. So he could get to 3, use all 3, and then regain up to 3 again.
Ooh.
That's how I read that. So Shagrat with Blood and Glory and Heroic Challenge can go Heroic Challenge, maybe get up to 6 might. This is ridiculous. Use all of that might, and then through Blood and Glory and Lords of Battle, go back up to 6.
Okay.
That's how I read it, because it says models that gain might points in some way and then spend them can still regain them in these scenarios as if they were spent earlier in the battle.
Yeah. Interesting.
Ooh, that's interesting now. That's very interesting.
It's very unlikely that it's going to happen to the Balrog.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Shagrat is probably a far better example. Shagrat is probably a far better example.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
in the reconnoiter scenario, do models that have escaped the board count as being on the board for determining whether a force has been broken or reduced to 25%? Yes. I thought this was in the rulebook anyway.
It must be, because I'm sure there was. It's just the way people have played it. Unless
Yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't, and we just all assumed.
Da, da, da.
While you're looking, Ryan's put a very good comment there. The barrel roll kills one of the twins. Other twin has to then challenge.
Ooh, that is a good way of doing it.
Right, so if I play the barrel roll, I'm playing the twins. I'm going to be rubbing my hands.
Recon.
So
Models that have escaped the board count as being on the board for the purpose of determining if a force is broken.
Okay. Is the and 25% as well?
Yeah. I've had it where someone's run over a quarter of their force off, and I've just mopped up everything else and won 5-3, I think it was.
Yeah, just because they can't get below 20.
Yeah.
It's what it was. That's a common.
What was it?
Sorry, go on.
How was it 5-3? Oh, right, yeah, so it was Jack Render. He took 6 spiders off the board, I want to say, and I had Guaher and 3 eagles. So he had Spider Queen and spiders. He had more models off than me, but I'd killed his leader and broken him, and I wasn't broken. So yeah, so I went 5-3.
Yeah.
But hello, Ryan, by the way. We are very near the end for you to just drop that comment in. We won't be online for much longer. So yeah, I think that's clarity.
Yeah. It's just clarity, because a lot of new players won't know that they can't then get down to 24% if they take more than 25% off the board. So it's good for them to know.
Yeah,
like you said, I've had it happen as well, where in the early days of me playing, I've had loads of goblins. I've ran like 20 of them off. Yeah. And then gone, oh no.
Oh dear, here we go again.
So penultimate one here.
Yeah.
The rules of deploying siege engines state they are deployed within 6 inches of the controlling player's board edge, whilst the rules of contest scenario state that your leader must be deployed within 3 inches of the centre of the board. If my leader has a siege engine, e.g. Bard or Girion with the Windlance, which takes precedent? The deployment rules for contest will overrule the deployment rules for siege engines. Yeah.
Again, that is a case of just specifying which rule has precedent over the other.
Yeah.
I don't
scenario
think there's too much else. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks when you're paying 75 points for a Windlance, I want to say.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's right.
To the book. It's a good thing I've got it in front of me. Yeah, so yeah, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth, but yeah, 75 points. But then you've kind of got to prepare for playing all the scenarios.
You do, yeah.
So and so the
it's not necessarily a bad thing. You've got a big thing in the middle as well.
Yeah, for the minute. So the last question. In the assassination scenario, I presume that means to say, not just in the assassination. If I choose a siege veteran as my assassin, do I still score victory points for killing my target with a siege engine? They will only count as killing the target if it is killed by the initial shot and not damage caused by area effects, piercing shots, and so on. So that is similar to Bard's clarification.
Just the continuation of that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the initial shot that counts, basically. Nothing.
anything else is a bonus. So that is the end of the FAQs and erratas that we are going to do. We're not going to look at battle companies. It might be something that we do a battle company stream at some point where we talk through all things battle companies.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's something that I would like to play again because we had a round. We had a round of it.
Oh God,
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Before this current.
Over 2 years.
Before this current edition of battle companies. So I think to ease us back in from lockdown, it would be something that I think our little group would like to do. So that could be quite cool, and we could come on.
Yeah.
We could have a. We could play some games and then have a live stream where we talk through our company and what's happened to them so far, which I think would be pretty cool.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
So that's everything from us. All I would say is the next stream will be on the 25th. We're going to aim to do these every 2 weeks. So I run a quiz every 2 weeks on a Tuesday on Zoom.
It's very good, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Everyone should join me.
Look out for the postings on the GPHL and various other Facebook groups. There's the LOTR Rocks one as well. So all you have to do is just click the link and join us about 8 o'clock. So do that every other Tuesday, and then we're going to look to stream the Tuesdays in between. Does that mean you won't be able to attend the quiz anymore?
No, it's fine. It's just tomorrow is.
Oh, I know.
Football.
Yeah, I know. The reason the stream is tonight rather than tomorrow is because Wolves got through to the Europa League quarters.
Very important game tomorrow.
Quarters?
Quarterfinals, yeah, against 5-time winners Sevilla.
Yeah, I know this is going completely off SPG, but I got a message from Luke on Saturday night, going, "Yeah, I can't do Tuesday."
It was literally 5 minutes after the result. I was like, "Yeah, I can't do the stream on Tuesday. I'm busy."
Yeah. So that is the plan for our live streams. It's one every 2 weeks, alternating with the quiz. Obviously, providing life doesn't get in the way. And we aim to do various bits and pieces. So for the next one, we have it already lined up. We are going to be doing a community interview with Mr. One Harry Parkhill of Entmoot.
Yes.
So
that should be very interesting.
Yeah, that should be awesome. I know we know him quite well. We've chatted all things hobby on nights out over many a beer. So going through our interview, and I think going forward, I might try and do more of the community interviews with yourself and the guests live, because then we can get some interesting questions from
we'll be able to get
said public
people watch. That we know.
So that might be the case. It might end up being that I do those streams not every 2 weeks, whether your work is dependent or not, because I think they're the one set of videos that we've produced that people have really taken to since we've come back.
I know ones I've watched you've done before. They're really interesting to get different point of view on the same question.
Yeah,
which is always really good.
Yeah, so
Russell even.
everything. We've just got to the end of going through all the pink writing in the FAQs. So you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to click.
Go live and then watch it.
Or I think you can just click back to the start now. So if you've got any ideas for people you want us to chat to, then we can do it. I know I could probably talk to Mr. Ben Stanley for quite a while. That could be
he
interesting.
would be good.
We will try and get more of the faction overviews done as well. Life is starting to get back to normal, which has become a little bit more difficult. If not, we could go through them just us two on something. So that's not a problem.
We'll see what we can do. And
Yeah. So good, Stu. Definitely go and watch it back. So yeah, if you enjoyed this stream, please let us know. They're good fun to do actually. Getting a bit of feedback is quite nice. So yeah, please comment, like, share, and subscribe.